Awusuafo ne ahwefo emu bi akobade ba Unidek TV so send the dey kan obodi answer betumi emi subscribe button no so no subscribe na for like na wetumi a share no wija comment was ne betumi.
You know, it's your boy Captain to the Planet. I'm here to talk to you about Unidek TV. Please subscribe to Unidek TV. Subscribe.
Honourable members, we move to item numbered 9. So, Honourable Minister for Education, Honourable Haruna, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement in thanking His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic, for honoring his respect to the 1992 Constitution, in particular Article 67, by coming to share with this House the state of the nation. And Mr. Speaker, to share what he said, a sad, sorry state of our country, Ghana. A country riddled with debt, a country struggling with unsustainable debt, a country that has introduced in its economics new vocabulary for those now studying economics: haircut, debt exchange, domestic exchange. This was not known to students of economics in the 90s because the economy was so well managed. Mr. Speaker, today you have them who prided themselves that they were superior managers of the economy. Today, public debt is at 741 billion. If we add the road sector debt, 29 billion, electricity, 80 billion, to 71 billion, what is left with the state? What is left with the state? That you don't want President Mahama to describe it as a sad one. It's indeed a sad one. Mr. Speaker, unemployment has increased. Cost of living has increased. The private sector and Ghanaian businesses destroyed. But Mr. Speaker, let me focus on governance before I come back to the economy. Mr. Speaker, when President Mahama first under the Fourth Republic, we have had ministers from 110 to 88 to 93 to 88. He is setting a new benchmark for this country. And Mr. Speaker, the new benchmark is that he will govern this country with 60 ministers. Undeniably, the smallest size of government ever under the Fourth Republic. No president have run this country with 60 ministers. However difficult or good it may be, Mr. Speaker, the lesson is that this country must stand with him to work to reduce the size of government. When you take Article 78, it says that the president shall run the country with such ministers as he may require. Mr. Speaker, it's only important that the Constitutional Review Committee will take up this matter, and this parliament must stand with the Constitutional Review Committee so that we have a ceiling for the number of ministers that any president in Ghana will want to work with tomorrow. It should not be left to any president to come and say, I'm reverting back to 110, I'm reverting back to 80, I'm reverting back to 90. If John Dramani Mahama can run this republic with 60 ministers, let it be the minimum that every other president tomorrow should run with. He didn't run government with your elephant size of government in 2017. In 2017, you ran government with 110 ministers. That counts. The facilities, the privileges of ministers is cost to the state. So once he cuts the size of government, he is reducing cost to the state and making money available which can support unemployment and others. But Mr. Speaker, as I have indicated, let the Constitutional Review Committee take up this matter. Let Parliament support them. so that in reviewing the constitution, we provide for a minimum of ministers that any president can have tomorrow, so that it is not like 60. President Mahama provided a ceiling of 60. The constitutional review should respect that ceiling, and presidents in future should run with that. Then, Mr. Speaker, IMF, they were running, they said superior managers of the economy. What happened to the Fiscal Responsibility Act? It was on suspension even before you exited political power. You said you wanted fiscal prudence. You brought in the Fiscal Responsibility Act with Ken Oforiatta as your minister. When we said censure him, you said no. Now that you have lost, you want to blame him for everything. You supported him to mess the country up, mess the economy up, and mess your administration up. So walk in regret and live in regret. When we said that he should be called to order, you overborrowed. And Mr. Speaker, again, let this parliament work for the people of Ghana. Ghana needs to have a ceiling on how much we can borrow. It cannot be at every time as it pleases a finance minister. He walks here, parliament fails in its responsibility, grant him between 2017 and 2021 before COVID, $3.5 billion. Yet the previous NDC administration did just $1 billion. So again, elephant appetite for borrowing. Your government had an elephant appetite for borrowing. At every time you wanted to borrow, and you borrowed, you undertook fiscal infrastructure. You said you were building Agenda 111 hospital, 88. At least, if 2 or 3 of it was functional, it will make meaningful contribution to maternal health, improve healthcare delivery in Ghana. Your overambitious initiative, you got none completed. They are more interested in winning votes at the December election than caring for the lives of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, President Mahama will soon launch the Mahama Cares, where some money will be dedicated and seed money provided to the Mahama Care, which will deal with diseases that are not catered for under the National Health Insurance Fund. Mr. Speaker, then to IMF. You said you won't go to IMF. You finally held a calabash begging the IMF. Yet you were here that no, you must govern with some sincerity. Today we are back to IMF. This is the 17th IMF program of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, we will have to resolve as a country have to deal with it. Mr. Speaker, then President Mahama also promised 24-hour economy. And let me assure members of this House that it is not going to be driven largely by the public sector. It will be a private sector driven initiative of President Mahama. And Mr. Speaker, sooner than later, the Minister for Finance and Attorney General will be in this House to amend the Ghana Investment Promotion Act, the GIPC Act, to provide for adequate strategic incentives to any investor who wants to invest in a 24-hour economy. We need to expand the manufacturing sector of this country. Investors such as Japan Textiles, Akusumbo Textiles, and Palugu Tomato Factory. Any investor who can bring in money and run it for 24-hour economy, President Mahama in this parliament will support him to do that, so that it will generate employment and also contribute to the GDP growth. What this parliament, Mr. Speaker, must insist in future. You came with one district, one factory. You are reminded. Do you have one in Wale Wale? Is your watermelon factory functioning well? Ask whether the one factory is working. But Mr. Speaker, the important thing is that in granting tax exemption and incentives to the private sector, we must ask 3 questions as Parliament. 1, how much are you contributing to employment? 2, what is your contribution to GDP? Before we make those generous grants to them. But Mr. Speaker, if you take from Kumasi, Ashanti up to Wale Wale, you will not find any factory that employs 1,000 or 2,000 people. So for instance, the people in the Brown region, poultry. Government will want to invest in poultry farming. That is their advantage. We should support them to do that. Cashew, we should support them to do that. So the 24-hour economy, government will provide, under the leadership of President Mahama, an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. not your government which came and destroyed the Ghanaian private sector. Yes, go and ask the private sector, whether AGR or Association of Ghana Industries, the harm when they were borrowing at those prohibitive interest rate, it did not allow for that. So, Mr. Speaker, then I come to the energy sector. This country, Mr. Speaker, we need a second gas plant. Beyond Atuabu gas, maybe in Kumasi somewhere in Sunyani, we should be thinking of the establishment of another gas plant so that we reduce the fuel consumption, which is part of the cost of the electricity company of Ghana. Again, it was the NDC, the vision of John Evans Mills at the time, who invested $800 million in getting the Atuabu gas plant constructed. Look at the gain and the benefits that it has done. All this year that you borrowed 741, almost $50 billion. What did you do with that money? What did you do with that money? Then, Mr. Speaker, they failed again to thank President Mahama for introducing ESLA. Those were part of the taxes you described as nuisance taxes. Yet you benefited.
Conclude.
45 billion from the energy sector lady. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude with my sector, education. Mr. Speaker, on education, we remain committed to expanding access to quality education from primary to secondary education. All the abandoned GET fund projects in your various constituencies, various universities, with an uncapped GET fund, will receive substantial investment in getting all those uncompleted projects completed. I'll work with the Minister of Finance to uncap GET fund. We will introduce digital technological hub in the provision of higher education from pre-tertiary level. Mr. Speaker, this year, every public university will get GET fund support to support 5 PhD students under a new local scholarship secretariat initiative, so that each public university can train Ghanaians under a scholarship program. Mr. Speaker, we also review curricula. We have difficulties with some Ghanaian languages we need to write, myself and you, Mamprusi and Dagbani. There's no literature on it, we need to work on it. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank His Excellency the President for giving us the state of STEM schools. We will build more. Each region will get a STEM school. Mr. Speaker, I thank you. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, but don't think that tomorrow there is an election and Ghanaians will forget how you mismanage this economy with a single economy, single debt.
Thank you very much, Leader. I will proceed to give the floor to Dr. Kabiru.
For unity, a Haruna Drusu in Sama or the to our parliament. Now, we so no, you can say the second true state of the nation and a Haruna and Edia to Jama. In Yama, a president Mahama Ankano and then Wababeka. Or the name for Sama to chain Afenyo Markin and Crofu because found someone or by vetino, Moka someone Madame for Pano into Moncana Simbiano. On Jine no so and yes, they are more disciple to now Nubisa and Debbie, and our fire we pa uninating so they are to get any answer get to. So, manning the Wakuma Swa. That's who say NPP for Cassa, nay way he. Didn't ya? For example, Yenfred did and the new BWG governor, Ekoka Parliament, and ne Okoka aid or more headquarters building NPP for the new one. Scar or Modisi, Navy po Ibiaka Munyam fencing we a dime pano, and whose can it Mrs. Stadium's bed or now or chair say or moody $8.6 million, scanning $9 or $8.6 million editor ICT systems keke and omode says can I a toy a day like Ujoma want you. Omudi 15.8 million eto electronics in Yama. Na IT system na enka electronics in Yama. $15.8 million and on the to electronics in Yama enkwa. $11 million and on furniture. And no kuyani table ni adi no furniture. $11 million. Inti se uwo economy anase government bia omono fa ho ndi ombesi manage oman no no me your oman basa diska de niema ensem fata o pese oman kusisen o pese o ye namfo sem eno ntina manfo ede dwumadi kese ahye John Dramani Mahama say the way ankrofo we si spend no the o mesi spend no ni kwan say so mo so kra ni kwan say like on arrested mududo na nkrofo mo ntimi account for niema omodi ayama Ghana na ebi kwa omutimi account kra aditini say itimi $11 million eto furnitures keke na saa mo transfer ko in dollars and doesn't mean say mo kra furnitures no Ghana obi ntimi nye furniture no ha bitimi reduce cost Haruna dress anya bri pa na hwede oti NPP for warning say ma your mind basa we nyina eche no musa etimi nya ano kasa ekasa say aya de yem bonji so niema akoso no eno ho punishment in elections no musa kan no eno punishment in musa kan no wo kan kire mo say mane mba madwemu da se moti parliament ono mo kasa amagana fo hu se Ghana da makoma so mane mba madwemu da se NPP for mbe win the election 2028 and I say any elections be a Ghana be an mbe win because the way Ghana for any esi abre no enye bene dia mo chire no munim de o mani esi abra ankasa abre no kamona mananka mo edin kamma train the next 1 year kransa na makasa we are the second sooner ena here na drusu diaba a silence NPP funi nyina mama edin a just obi anu timi sole challenge no a just nigisem or just still na the leadership in den and that's who much just enya sinkata semi bri no kan bit ma cha adana the comment section subscribe na share ni ma onua so de nya binti no so de akobia akra mu nyina
abusuafo ne ahwefo emu bi akobade ba Unidek TV so sendere de adi kan abodi anse betumi emi subscribe button no so no subscribe na for like na wetumi a share no wija comment was ne betumi
It's your boy Captain to the Planet. I'm here to talk to you about Unidek TV. Please subscribe to Unidek TV. Subscribe.